Good. Okay. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. I asked this question, or I shared these questions um, with the groups that I was with this week. It was a poll of what people are experiencing in their business, and if you identify any with them, keep track of it. I'm going to ask you to let me know. So you belong here. You're in the right place. If this is you. Um, Number one, you might say to yourself, I'm great at what I do, but I struggle to consistently find new clients. Number two, I spend too much time delivering work and not enough time growing my business. Number three, my income feels unpredictable and I never quite know where the next client is coming from. Number four, I have a hard time clearly explaining what makes me different from others in my field. Number five, I feel like I'm doing a lot of marketing, but I don't know what's actually working. Number six, I underprice myself because I'm afraid of losing opportunities. I certainly know that. Number seven, I rely too much on referrals, and when they slow down, everything slows down. Number eight, I know I should be more visible, but self-promotion feels uncomfortable or forced. Number nine, I'm overwhelmed by all the marketing options and I don't know what to focus on. And number 10, I feel stuck at a certain income level and I can't seem to break through it. So if you identify with any one or more of those, put the number in the chat. So if you identify with number one, put number one. If you identify with number two and number seven, put those in the chat right now. So most of you or all of you identify with at least one of these in this on this list. Before we get started, I'm going to share with you an autobiography in 5 chapters. See if you identify with this metaphorically. Number one, I walk down the street. There's a huge hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. It's not my fault. It takes forever to get out. Chapter two, I walk down the same street. There's a huge hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I cannot believe I'm in the same hole, but it's still not my fault. It takes me a long time to get out. Chapter three, I walk down the same street. There's a huge hole in the sidewalk. I see it. I fall in. It's a habit, but my eyes are wide open. I know where I am. I admit it's my fault. I get out immediately. Chapter four, I walk down the same street. There's a huge hole in the sidewalk. I walk around it. In chapter five, I walk down a different street. So, my question to you is, are you ready to walk down a different street? If you're here today, the answer is probably yes. But the point is, I'm going to share with you a few frameworks today that will absolutely enhance your business, if not change the complete direction of it. So if you don't know who I am, if we've never met, if we haven't had a personal conversation together about who I am and what I do, I'm Craig Valine. I've been a marketing strategist for 30 years. Um, I'm from Boston, and I'll share that again. Everything I do is for this guy. This is my son, Mitchell. He's going to turn 25 tomorrow. Holy crap. If anybody's known me for longer than 10 years, you know he was referred to as Mini Me in my marketing and brought to several chamber events, chamber lunches. And um, I'm going to reveal later how I use him in my marketing. Um, I became an entrepreneur at a young age because my father said he was giving my sister an allowance of $5 and he was giving me 50 cents. And one day I figured that out and I said, what the heck, Dad? He goes, I'm going to teach you a very valuable lesson. He goes, why don't you go out and earn it? So go here. I started going out to earn it by asking a friend if she was willing to give up a paper route. And she was. She had 3 paper routes, Boston Globe. And so, by the way, if you didn't figure out, I'm from Boston. So those are my logos, my teams. My father gave me this book as a joke. He went to a flea market and he found it on the table of a home, and it's how I raised myself from failure to success in selling by Frank Baker. That's the original cover that I have. I have the book still. But what it taught me was to really seriously create habits, daily habits, weekly habits, and think a certain way to make money. Because I was just a kid who was told to go earn my own money. I wasn't taught how to do it, so I grabbed that first paper route. Do do do. I grabbed the first paper route, then it turned into 2 paper routes, then it turned into 3 paper routes. I ended up winning new customer contests, and they for incentives they'd say for every new customer you get 2 Red Sox tickets. And one time I got 14 tickets for one game because I went around and, so I loved that. Now, there's another story tied to that. I didn't actually get to go to that game, but my friends loved me very much because I was able to give them the tickets. I mowed every lawn on our hill. Now, I lived in a little town called Hull, Massachusetts. It's right across the bay, right across from Boston Harbor. It's a beach town. It's dead in the winter. It's booming in the summer. There was an amusement park there called Paragon Park. It's no longer there. It's condominiums. But I just made money any possible way that I could. In the summer, it was mow every lawn on our hill. In the winter or in the fall, it was rake leaves. It was hang Christmas lights. It was shovel snow, whatever it was. And I made a lot of money as a kid. Um, I'm the author of the Ultimate No BS Guide to Entrepreneurial Success. Um, this cover was a first time cover. It does not look like that. It's an ugly book, and it's not even a well written book, but it's a well formatted book. And here's a quick story about implementation. I have a mastermind group that I've been running for since 1990, no, 2008. And I was telling them in 2010, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. I'm going to write a book. And one day, one of my members came in from the mastermind and said, "Hey, Craig, how's the book coming?" I'm like, "I'll have it done next month." They said, "Don't worry, Craig. We don't expect you to do that." And I went, "What?" They were holding me accountable, and they were right. I kept saying I was going to do it, and I hadn't done it. And believe it or not, I got it done in 4 days. And there's a secret to how to get a book done in 4 days, by the way. But I got it done in 4 days, and I wrote it in a way that created what they call a dual readership path. So on every right side of the page was the words of the chapter, the topics, and every left-hand side was a quote or a note that I had taken on on any subject, on a marketing subject. So if people just peruse the books, have you ever gone and seen a book and you just kind of peruse your page through, but you look for the headlines or the quotes or whatever? Some people just do that. Some people read word for word. So I appealed to both types of people. I got it done in 4 days, and I had a galley copy for them at the next meeting. And so when you're put under pressure, when things matter, when things have to happen, you can get anything done as quickly as possible. I'm also a co-author in this book called Zero to Hero in 90 Days or Less. I wrote a chapter on it, on the power of storytelling. For 18 years, I ran a group in Pasadena called EMP. Enhanced Marketing Performance is the name of my company, so it's called EMP. And we met once a month in the Courtyard Marriott, in multiple places, but we ended up at the Courtyard Marriott in Old Town Pasadena. And we met, and at one time we had 132 members. Ted, who's on this call, was my sidekick. He helped with registration. He was a greeter. He was my right-hand man, in a mastermind member as well. But we did that. And so it was a group where we taught marketing, basic marketing lessons every month. There was a new marketing lesson. We let people become, uh, it was a place where people could surround themselves around like-minded people. It was a place where people could get immediate help for their marketing. And it was a place for people to show off. So my teacher, Bill Glazer from the Glazer Kennedy Insider Circle, he said people join any organization for one or more of these three reasons. Number one, they're looking for help. They're looking for that life raft to save their life, save their business. Number two, they just want to belong. They want to surround themselves around other like-minded people. Number three, people want to show off. They say the successful entrepreneur is the loneliest person in the world. Nobody understands us. Our family doesn't understand us quite like other people do. So I identified those things. And so the people who needed showing off, I put them at the front of the room. I recognized them. I gave people braggadocious time, I call it, at the beginning. Tell us what you accomplished. And so it was a very successful group. And it actually ran uh, live until 2018 or 2019. No, 2018. And then we did it on during the pandemic. We went on Zoom, and then it dissolved for a while. I also, if I think you attended this, Victor, I think, and Ted. I hosted an event in 2017 and 2018 called the Pasadena Small Business Success Summit. I partnered with the Chamber primarily as a member drive for them, and also for as a point so I could share the marketing message with this group. In 2017, we had over 130 people at this event. It was at the Hilton on Los Robos in Pasadena. This was the 2018. We had slightly less people, but I had a number of speakers, sponsors, and everything. It was a great event. So that's a little bit about me. If you don't know what I do, I used to call myself a marketing performance strategist. And what that means is I'm a problem solver. I'm a course corrector. So as a visual example, if you want to say I have a goal of getting to San Francisco and I'm in LA, how am I going to get there? Well, one way you could get there to your goal is by taking this route along the 101 or the one, and it'll take you about 7 hours and 40 minutes. So it's not too bad, but it'll get you there. Another way you could say, well, I could take this other route up to 5, and that'll take, I can't see what it's for time, but it's just shorter distance, so about 5 hours, just under 6 hours, right? So that's faster way. But the way that I encourage you to get there is by airline, taking a flight out of LAX or Burbank, and that'll get you there in an hour. So what I do is I help people reach their marketing goals in the fastest time possible. You can do it on your own, for sure. You can read a book, but there's that like, will it work? Will it not work? I don't know. Do I have all the feedback and information that I need to accomplish this goal using this resource, using this person? What I do is I look at what you're already doing and I course correct. You say you're trying to reach this goal with this target market and achieve this outcome, this financial outcome. Is it the best way to get there? What I do is I help you get the best way to get there, to get to your goals. So what you'll walk away with today, a simple way to grow your business without feeling overwhelmed, clear words to explain what you do so the right people pay attention, a better understanding of what you already have that helps you get clients. These are called marketing assets, more than one way to get new clients, and a clearer reason why someone should choose you versus anybody else. So what I would not like to hear in the chat or afterwards is, but Craig, my business is different. Inherently, no business is really different. The strategies remain the same. The tactics may change, the media may change, but inherently, every business has to produce a customer, whether you call it a customer, a client, a patient, a member, whatever. Every business has fundamentally the same strategies to achieve success. Peter Drucker, famous management consultant, said, since its purpose is to produce a customer, a business has two and only two functions: marketing and innovation. Marketing and innovation produce results. All the rest are just costs. Costs of time, money, and effort. So what is marketing if you don't really know what it is? If you couldn't define it in your words, the action or business of promoting and selling a product or service. Is in the essence of it is just promotion. I like this definition. It's the process of targeting and acquiring a new customer. And a new customer is a client, a patient, just insert what it is for you. Maintaining an ongoing relationship with that customer. So we don't make sales, we get customers. We get clients. We don't make sales. We don't get customers to make sales. Make sales to get customers. Customers are for life. And number 3 is bringing substantial benefit to both the customer and your business over and over for the life of that relationship. One of my mentors, Frank Kern, he's an online genius. He says, marketing is stuff you do that makes you lots of money. And he's great at that. Innovation is finding new and better ways to serve the clients. So if you're still selling the same thing from 10, 20 years ago and you haven't made any improvements on it, it may be old news. We have to find new and better ways, even by just changing the name of something, creating a new product off an old product, finding something that works a little bit better or a lot way better than we did before. It's finding new and better ways to serve your customers. And there's a reason why we concentrate on marketing, because the most costly endeavor in business is the money spent to acquire a new customer. So when we get a customer, we have to treat it like gold, treat it like it's a family member. We want to treat them like dear and valued friends because it took so much time, money, and effort to get them to be a customer. We don't want to lose them. If we get a customer and we think of it as just a sale and we treat that as a one-time transaction, then we're not really building a business. We're just making money as quickly as we can at any cost. Um, the problem with most businesses that I find is people are marketing lemmings. You know what a lemming is? Mouse-like rodents, noted for periodic mass migrations that sometimes result in mass drownings. What I mean by marketing lemmings is when we get into business, we know our skill, our craft, but we really don't know how to market ourselves. So we look left and we look to right. What are they doing? What are they doing that I like that I could borrow? Maybe it's, but the problem is most times everybody else doesn't know what the heck they're doing either. And some things are working, some things aren't working. Some things are systems that have layers of reasons why they're doing what they're doing. So if we just look left and right, then we don't know if that's necessarily the right way to do it. So I have this Parthenon theory that I discovered from a mentor of mine about 30 years ago called the Parthenon theory. And the thing is, well, think of your business, the sales, the revenues, customers, whatever you want to do, your goal of what you're trying to achieve as the roof of a Parthenon. And everybody knows what the Parthenon is, the Greek Parthenon in Greek, Greece. Um, it has, it's made of granite and it's held up by pillars, granite pillars. And so if you think about the roof as revenues and the pillars as media or strategies to attract more money, um, this example will work. So most people, especially a lot of people on this call, rely on one specific marketing method, and that is networking. And the problem with that is if you think about one source, what if that one source doesn't work anymore? Think of it as the diving board philosophy. If you jump on a diving board, do you go up or down? Well, you may go up for a second, but you're ultimately going down. And so the problem with that is um, what happens if a month goes by and you don't get any new clients from your networking? No revenues coming in. What would happen to the stability of your business if your marketing mix look like this? What if we created strategic marketing alliances with people who have our customer but aren't in direct competition with us? So who complements our business? That's the best way to go about it. So if you're a chiropractor, it makes sense to create relationships with acupuncturists or massage therapists or um, Reiki or whatever it is that you do. If you're a financial person, you might team up with um, let's say business groups, um, associations, things that whoever your target market is. But the point is, there's someone for everybody here who has someone else who has their client, but is an indirect competition. But again, that adds a pillar. It puts stability on the revenue. So if networking isn't pulling like it should, or maybe it's bringing one versus three every time you go to a networking event, marketing alliances can do that. So one thing that I do with marketing alliances, I usually used to belong to a local chiropractic group that brought in people from all over Southern California with Dr. Dennis Buckley, if you remember, if you know him. Dr. Dennis Buckley had an organization called CORE, Chiropractors on the Road to Excellence. I got to keep track of time, by the way. So, chiropractors on the road to excellence, and they would meet and then have a speaker, and I would be the sponsor. So I would sponsor and pay for pizza and stuff like that for them because it was after work. And then I get 15 minutes up at the front of the room to do a little marketing lesson. I say if I can ever be of help to you, with no hard selling at all. It was just I was the obvious choice because I was the one there. And so that produced a lot of business for me. I also did that with the CPA group and financial advisors way back about 20 years ago. Um, let's just say we add another pillar. Say it's publicity. What if every month I interviewed you on a topic and then we submitted a press release on it and we used it for that. So the point being is the more pillars that we add to our marketing mix, the more stable our business becomes. Because if networking is producing one lead a month, and that may or may not turn into a sale, but it's one lead. What if we had strategic referrals from people that we had strategic relationships with, like the people in the Pasadena Leads Club? I'm getting to know people one-on-one. We're going there. We're learning about them, who they are. Are they trustworthy? Are they someone that I can rely in on my reputation, trust my reputation for referring to them? And so that's one thing you got to make sure that The people you refer to are referable. It's important. Biggest lesson I ever learned. And so it's important to get to know people. I just got back involved with the chamber a couple months ago. Long story. If you've seen me recently, I've told you the story. But but there's a lot of new people that I have to, so I'm meeting them one on one. Let's have coffee. Tell me about you. Tell me about your family. Tell me about your life. Tell me what you've been doing. Is this what you've been doing all your life? Is this why you're passionate about doing this? Tell me about your business, those types of things. So make sure the strategic referrals you create are with people that are referable. Direct mail. I have breaking news. Direct mail is not dead. Most people do it wrong. And so, and they send it to the wrong people or they send it to all people. And when all people aren't necessarily your target market, direct mail works tremendously. Newsletter, email, things like that. So the point being is have multiple things holding up your financial roof. I call it diversity creates stability. Diversity creates stability. The more things you have working for you at the same time, the more stable your business will become. And by the way, you don't need six things, but you at least, whoops, sorry, you at least need a couple things, a few things. Because if this one doesn't work, then the other two need to be helping out. All right. There are only three ways to grow a business, not 17. Isn't that good news? You don't have to do 17 things to grow a business. You only need to do three, and I'm going to go over them quickly. Number one is increase the number of paying customers who do business with you. How do you do that? That may seem obvious, but number one may be that diversity creates stability, having more than one way to reach your target market, to reach your customer. Number two way might be making sure that your message hits right, hits the people the right way. And so there's a quote that I'm going to share with you in a little bit, but by an author from the early part of the century named Robert Collier. He says, enter the conversation currently occurring in the prospect's mind. What are they thinking about most? What is troubling them? What do they talk to their spouse about on a regular basis? What problem is at the center? If you hit that, you will, and you got to test this. Like the first time I got involved with the chamber, I was speaking uh, Icelandic to a bunch of English speaking people, meaning what I was saying wasn't hitting with the people that I was talking to because I was talking to the wrong crowd. And I'll tell you later how I fixed that. But the point being that I tested multiple messages to the people that I was speaking to. And by the way, when I spoke that at the foreign language to an English speaking group, and I'm being metaphoric, by the way, I hope you get that. Speaking inside lingo to an outside crowd. So when I spoke that language that only I wanted the people who needed to hear it heard it, it was still only a few leads, but at least it was hitting the people that needed to hear it, who wanted to hear it. Number two is increase the average transaction value for every sale. So it's as simple. You got to think about how it might help you. But if you go and you say, I'm just going to get a hamburger, and they say, for $1 more. This is popular. I'm going to use this as an air. Anybody been to the airport, gone to the bar, and said, "I'll have a beer," and they say, "Would you like a large for $1 more?" So it took them no more effort or money to make more per transaction. All it was you're already getting this. I'm already in front of you. Would you like to increase how much you spend with me right now? And that is make it attractive. So if you go to a hamburger stand and you say, "I'm just going to get a hamburger. I don't need anything else right now," and they say, "You know what? For $2 more, you can get the combo and you get large fries with that and a medium drink." And so they go from being a $7 sale to a $9 sale. And again, you can do that by packaging things together. You can do that by just asking a simple question. Would you like this? People going in to buy a refrigerator, then say, have you thought about a microwave that goes with the refrigerator? It's the same brand and it's discounted today if you buy them together. So we want to go in, if we have the opportunity, we're selling one thing already. What else complements it? Number three is increase the frequency of repurchase. So how often do they do business with you? So if uh, there are many ways to go about this, but I'm going to speak in the most general way. Most people treat their customers like a transaction. They say they'll come back and do business when they're ready. But what happens is people stop doing business with you for many, many reasons. And the last one is they just aren't happy with your service. But number one is life's changed. People get busy. Have you ever gone to a favorite restaurant, like I have a favorite Mexican restaurant that went out of business? Actually, they went out of business at their location. They moved to another location. They never stayed in touch with me to come back. I eat Mexican food all the time, but they never stayed in touch with me. So through either a phone call, through email, through direct mail, a postcard, a newsletter, whatever, we have to encourage people to come back for a reason. When you go to your auto mechanic and they say your next checkup is in 3 months or 3,000 miles, right? That's a way of reminding you that you need to go back. And then I usually go out to, I have a Hyundai, so I go out to Glendora Hyundai. They call me several times around that time of the month, around that time at the end of the period. Hey, it's coming up on your 3 months. It's time to get an oil change. Now, it's annoying sometimes, but I'm glad they did it because then I go, you know what? I really do need to get an oil change. It's just staying in touch because what you'll find out shortly is that this is a major part of your business. Increasing the frequency of repurchase. Again, we make a sale to get a customer. We don't get a customer to make a sale. Right? We want them to come back over and over and over again. Critical marketing triangle. I call the three M's of good communication. So, and again, if I've met with you one-on-one, you've heard this before, but I want to reinforce it. So it's the right message, going to the right market, using the right media. And that equals, oops, sorry. It was supposed to pop up. Something pop up in the middle of that triangle, and it's not. Right message, right market, right media, get you right results. Okay. So if you get any one of these wrong, you risk poor results. So I'm going to go through each one real quick. Markets. 3 ways to pick your market if you don't know how, if you don't have a solid target market. Number one is geographic, people in the Pasadena area. Demographic is people between the ages of 40 and 60 who have kids who have just left the house. What's that? Phone the nest. Um, anyway, it's specific information about a customer. Affinity or association. I deal with as Michael deals with other, he helps other advisors, right? Association. People have gone to the same. Like I dealt with the chiropractics on the road to excellence. That was an association. Financial advisors of Southern California. I used to teach there. So wherever your people are, you just need to pick one. Okay. Not all people are your market. My teacher, Dan Kennedy, taught me this coach. He says, every product, every service, every business either appeals or has the potential to appeal much more strongly to a certain definable group of people than it appeals to all people. So we want to be very careful about who we choose as our client. So everybody's familiar with the word niche. Not everybody can define it, but I define it as a distinct segment of a market. So we're isolating a certain group of people to help, to serve. Some niches, female golfers, Hispanic business owners, homeowners with less than perfect credit, hippie clothing for baby boomer women, dentistry for diabetics. Do you think that dentistry is any different than regular dentistry? It really isn't. There's some very minor tweaks to it. I have a colleague and a friend from Virginia, and he just caters to that. But guess what he can do with that? He can charge more for that specialized service. People feel like it's just for them. Someone understands me, and they're thinking themselves, I do need specialized treatment. Financial planning for net worths over 2 million. That's common, especially here in Pasadena. Anyway, you get the gist. So it's finding a segment of a market. When we're talking about message, again, another quote from my mentor. If you want a yard full of deer, don't put a 50-pound block of cheddar cheese outside. You will attract a lot of pests and rodents. If you really want to attract deer, put out a big salt block. That's what they like. So we want to put out the right food for the right critter, the right bait for the right critter. So match bait to critter. Bait means two things. Your message, your marketing message, and whatever thing you offer to spark a direct response, whether that's information, a free service, a gift, etc. So you may have or have not heard the term lead magnet. A lead magnet is what we put out to the marketplace, generally it is that thing they're thinking about. So as you saw when I started this workshop, I said, "Is this you?" So if someone identifies with that, my goal is to create something of benefit to them that says, "Yes, I do identify that, and I want that thing that you're offering." And that's how we get them on a list that we take care of and we manage over time and build upon that relationship. Again, Robert Collier said, "Enter the conversation already occurring in the prospect's mind." Um, if you remember just a couple things while you're here today or after you leave today, diversity creates stability and message market match and enter the conversation already occurring in the prospect's mind. So more on the right message. This is a way to really stand out. Okay. So it's the most important and challenging question you will ever answer about your business. It needs to be answered about the business as a whole. It needs to be answered repeatedly and frequently. Each time you advertise, promote, put forth an offer, attempt communicating with the prospect. Its answer is called the USP, unique selling proposition. And it's designed to be concise and differentiate you from all the competition. In this question that I'm about to share with you, your prospects are asking this in their mind. And that is, why should I, your prospect, choose to do business with you versus any and every other option available to me, including nothing at this time? They can also do nothing versus instead of choose you. So we have to answer that question very carefully. So how do you develop a USP? Here are a couple of ways. One great way is to answer the question, um, what do you do that no one else is willing to or does, can, or will offer you? So great way to answer it is being the only. We're the only people who do what we do. And that, and if you like, if you're an accountant, if you're a hypnotherapist, if you're a salesperson, if you're a marketing person, whatever it is, if you can answer it by saying we're the only, that puts you in a category of one. And that is you don't have any competition if you're the only one who offers this. And that could be, again, if you're the only one licensed or have an agreement for broad selection, big discounts, advice and assistance, convenience. We're open 24 hours. Everybody else is only open 12 hours. Top of the line products. We have an exclusive agreement with this vendor. So we're the only ones in Southern California where you can get this product or service. Speedy service. We'll get it done in 30 minutes or less, or it's free, something to that effect. A longer, more comprehensive warranty or guarantee. The better than risk-free guarantee. No strings attached. You can return your product or service at any time. Stuff like that. That's a great way to get a USP. Another way is again, I already said that. We're the only is a great way to do it. How to identify your own USP? Make sure you clearly know who you're talking to, your target market. You got to know what problem you're really solving for your client. You're not selling a product or service, you're solving a problem. What are your competitors doing? Look and see what other people are doing in your business category and say what are they offering and what are they not offering that people really want or need. And what do we do better than anybody else? If it's speed, price, luxury, or specific feature or guarantee, you can identify that. Ingredients of a powerful marketing message, and I'm going to go rush through this, the unique selling proposition. A great way to answer that is, and I've shared this with a few of you, is answer the question, you know how blank? What I do is blank. You know how these specific people have this specific problem? Well, what I do is I solve it in this unique way. So you know how blank? What I do is blank. Value selling proposition. Unique selling proposition is that thing that makes you different than anybody else. Value selling proposition is how your life will become better. What's the outcome that'll be achieved as a result of that? And that isn't absolutely 100% essential, but it should be, it's part of a powerful marketing message. Risk reversal. If you can guarantee your product or service, if you're not, try one lesson. If you don't like it, there's no charge. Warrant, again, guarantees. Don't be afraid of people taking advantage of you. The only way you'll have to repay is number one, if it's truly not for them, and they say, "I thought this was something else. I didn't think it would be this." Number two, if you aren't really good at what you do, which I know none of the people on this call are that way, but that's one reason. And number three, there's people who just are chronic refunders. They just want their money back. and they weren't right for you in the first place. And I don't want to take money from people who aren't right for me. Direct response offer. Direct response means that you are asking for a response. When you put out an offer, even if it's for more information, make sure that there's a call to action. So I'll show you something later that I did that it wasn't an offer for a product or service. It was like, hey, I have these other things going on. If you'd like to talk about them, you want more information on it, let's book a call. That's a call to action. If you want to see people go watch this video, that's a call to action. If you say, hey, to get your discount today before noon, email me right now or go to this link before it expires. That's a call to action. Improve testimonials. Um, Testimonials are powerful. And the more information you can give about the person giving it, the better. What you say about you is 1,000 power. No, let me put it this way. Sorry about that. What they say about you is 1,000 times more powerful than what you say about you. So if he's still on the call, I'm gonna ask someone to do that for me here at the end. But the point being is everybody's going to talk. Go, I'm the best. I'm great at what I do. Da 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 da. But if Victor says I've known Craig for 15 years now, and I've been to his live events, and I got to tell you, he knows what he's talking about. That means more. Now, I'm putting words in your mouth, Victor, but I'm just saying if he did. Um, Point being is he said it. I didn't say it. So the more testimonials you can get, and again, there are some restrictions to that in some businesses, but there are ways to do it that aren't results oriented. They don't have to be results oriented. If you say sorry about that. Craig is a man of his word. Craig gave me the time, his time and knowledge to share with my specific situation. I recommend Craig. It doesn't have to be results oriented. And I'll get to another example of that shortly. Media. Media is the method in which you deliver your message. It's the place. So many of you that are here on this call, we know each other from the chamber. That's one media, or it's a network. It's an event, which is a media. Okay, so we want to only advertise where your target market reads, listens, watches, or congregates. Okay, now my story about the beginning about me speaking Icelandic to English speaking people, my target market in the beginning was other consultants and coaches. And I was coming in who number one, who market and promote themselves. That's a very small list. So when I went to the chamber, I got no leads for months. And then someone says, why don't you consider going to the Institute of Management Consultants meeting out in Culver City? They meet once a month and they are always looking for speakers and sponsors and things like that. And I went out there and I got about 90% of the room was my target market. So what I did was, remember I said it, right message, right market, right media. If any one of those are missing, you risk poor results. I was getting poor results. Once I changed that and spoke exactly to them in the place that they're at with the message that they could relate with that was inside their head, things changed for me. So you got to ask yourself, where can you place yourself that elevates your status and importance? What organizations do they belong to? What associations are they members of? And you want to use as many different types of media as possible to beat your competition, or just to hold up your financial roof. Again, remember, diversity creates stability. Hey. And if the media can't be used to deliver a direct response, skip it. If you're not able to say, hey, if you'd like more information, visit my website. Uh, um, Sorry. Okay. If you direct response. Direct response. You want to be able to have a call to action because I've been invited to speak places, but I wasn't allowed to promote myself. And I'm like, well, why would I go to speak? It's like, can I at least give them a copy of my newsletter? Can I direct them to go visit my website and not have a specific offer or whatever? Just go watch a video. Go watch this video at craigsvideo.com and I could create a URL specifically for that event that delivers them to continue the conversation that we just had. Quickly, this is really talking about marketing assets and the things that you already have in your business. There are 5 sources of power in any business. And number one is the list and the relationships you have with that list. So the list is important, and that is every time Number one, we want to be attracting people who are interested in our product or service, or interested in us. So if you're interested in growing your business, you gave me your email address to show me you're interested in attending this workshop. Now, as a result of doing that, you've indicated I want to hear more from you. And as long as I don't abuse that, you'll welcome that. Because my goal, again, the relationship, there's a saying that the value in any business is really in the list. And I would add, no, it's the relationship with the people on the list that is the most valuable. So the people that you communicate with over and over and over again, as long as you don't abuse it, that's value, that's power. So the power really comes with number one, building the list, and number two, nurturing that list over time, staying in touch in a creative way. And I'm going to show you an example of how I did that shortly. So if you're not building the list, and again, use a lead magnet, something that's a value of that would be in exchange for an email address or a mailing address, because mailing is even far better if you can get all of that information. Um, so very important. Reputation. What are you known for in the marketplace? So Ted is known as the hypnotherapist in the Pasadena Chamber. People would not refer to anybody. Nobody else has come in and really stuck around. But and just like for the people who know me in the Pasadena Chamber, I'm the marketing guy. I was the marketing guy for 28 years, and still there are other people doing marketing. But I have a reputation for being around the longest and being consistent. Because what you find is a lot of people in your business category. This is a good lesson for you if you belong to the Pasadena Chamber or any chamber. Is consistency is key. They must see you over and over again because people come and go because they're not getting results right away. But it's really about the relationships. So that list in relationships, that relationship matters about the people you connected with, the people who are going to refer business to you, the people you're going to refer business to. It's about the relationships. Marketing is a power, source of power. Why? Because most people don't do it. And if they do it, they're not doing it correctly. So the fact that you're marketing yourself more than anybody else gives you power. Just the fact that you're doing that. Just the fact that you're here today, for crying out loud. Specific marketing advantage. If you do something better than anybody else, do something that no one else can, does, or will offer your target market, that's an advantage. It's a source of power. Number 5 is clarity. Clarity is number one, clarity of who your target market is, clarity of where to find them, clarity of your goals, clarity of your products and service, your marketing message. Clarity is power. So let's go to source. I'm going to emphasize power source number 1 again. And I can't say it enough. How much of your time is devoted to building and nurturing your list? Those people you've already done business with and the people you will do business with in the future, whether they've already said, I'm interested in what you have to do, but I'm just not ready yet. Because life is a moving parade. I marketed to somebody for 2 years before they said, I loved what you were saying, but it was only when you offered this opportunity that I said yes. So if I hadn't stayed in touch with them for 2 years, they would have never become a long-term client. So how much of your resources are devoted to them? All you need is a little email capture. Now, I was out of business for 2.5 years taking care of my wife while she was sick. So I let go of my marketing, my email marketing platform. So that's why I had everybody sign up via Zoom. But those are already downloaded and entered into my new email platform. So again, you don't abuse it, but if you have something of value that says, hey, how are you doing? Here's a little story for you that might be a benefit, that might be helpful to you. And by the way, if you want more information on this or if I can help you in any way, click here and book an appointment with me. So how much are you willing to invest in building a list? I would say do anything it takes to build your list. Make it a priority. Andrew Carnegie, Steel Magnet, says, if you take away all my wealth, my products, my inventory, my equipment, my staff, in fact, virtually all assets and resources, but leave me my customer lists, I will have everything else back in short order. What does that tell you about it? It's not the equipment that'll build your business back. It won't be the location necessarily. But if he has a list of people, he can say, hey, like I did, like I did after 2.5 years not running my EMP groups and things like that. I have a list of people that I can reach out to and say, how are you doing? What are you working on? How can I be of help to you? That gives me more potential to have a success than anything else, like the wealth, the products, the inventory, the equipment, etc. So here's a method that I learned from the real estate industry. It's called farming. Anybody else familiar with that? Farming, in its most simple essence, is this formula, and if you borrow it, you can keep it. But if you take these lessons, it's 1, 2, and 3 lessons, and just do something with it to build your business, you'll be very, very successful by the end of 2026. Number one is identify who your target market is and consistently and constantly build your list of interested and loyal prospects and customers. So what to the realtor, it's find a neighborhood, find a zip code, and go be the realtor of choice in that neighborhood. Now, I would tell you probably 99% of the realtors don't do this and they fail. The 1% that do that are very successful because they are the person. They are, they neglect it. But it doesn't mean you have to go to physically a neighborhood. You could go, I mean, it could be you going to the chamber or multiple events on a regular basis, or you're doing some sort of lead generation online or some target direct mail to build your list of people who are interested in what you have to offer. Number two, share your story with them in an irresistible offer attractive to them. When I say your story, you don't have to pitch every time you email. Now, what I do is I create a story. I call it personality and copy. Personality and copy. Using your personality and characters that people can remember. Now, I told you, I use my son since the very beginning, 20 years ago, very beginning of emailing on a regular basis, 20 years ago, and I referred to him as Mini Me. As he got older, he became college boy. As he got older, he became the college graduate. And tomorrow he's going to be 25. He's going to be the fine young man. So to this day, people who met me 20 years ago and came to one of my groups um, still ask if I bump into them, how's Mini Me doing? He must be so and so. So I saw Raquel McLaughlin yesterday at the chamber event. I met her in 2003 when my son was just 2 years old. And she goes, yesterday she asked me, so how is your son? He must be in college now. And I said, no, he's graduating from college. He's 25 years old. She goes, get the F out of here. Sorry. Get the F out of here. He goes, it's been that long. Yeah, it's been that long since she and I met. So, but people connect with that. They connect with a character. You may use your dog. You may use your cat. You may use your husband or wife. You may use your son or daughter. You may use an imaginary character. Think Mickey Mouse, right? A character. Everything revolves around that. Everything revolved around my son and stories about my son. Now, just in case you're asking, do I call him Mini Me? No, I don't refer. He's just my character in what I write. That's how I refer to him. I call him Bubba, actually. The third way to do it is put this in front of them repeatedly in a short period of time using multiple types of media, but definitely use direct mail if you can, because direct mail bypasses all the other noise on email. So when you get an address, when you get information from a prospect, so um, like the business cards, some business cards have addresses. I have my mailing address on mine because I want people to send me mail. I want people to contact me that way. Also, is on my email address, but I'm going to lower this for a second, and I'm going to show you an example. Okay, so here's an example. So, and this was just one of my weekly emails that I sent out to my list, which had approximately 700 people on it. So, and that was after cleaning out the list because a lot of people have said yes before, but I find out that they're not really serious people. They just want freebies. So this is an email to nurture my list, and I share a story about going down to visit him in San Diego. So it says when he was going to University of San Diego. So I say a few years ago we went down to visit my son, aka Mini Me, college boy, the college grad down in San Diego. It had been just about 2 months since he moved back to school, so we were really looking forward to some nice quality time. Yada yada yada. As we were entering the neighborhood, looking for a parking space, I had both my son and his mother yip yapping in my ear this space right here, that space over there, and it was deafening and distracting. We finally found a spot, and next thing I know, there's a guy on his bike forcefully banging on my driver's side window, banging at me. Hey, you almost hit me over there. Didn't you see me? No, what? Why? How? What does that have to do with anything marketing or business wise, right? So I was both mortified and frightened by the same at the same time. I'm usually very careful when I drive, but these distractions got to me and overwhelmed my senses. I never saw him. I pleaded for his forgiveness, and he said it scared the heck out of him. I don't blame him. Anyway, he was very kind and wished us a great evening. But wow, scary. I was shook up after a while. It bothered me a lot. I shared this with you because distractions of any kind restrict you from high performance. That's the lesson I want them to take away from this. If you are to accomplish great things in life and business, you have to shut out distractions that keep you from getting things done and done well. And then I go into what my solution for it is. So I shared this with Michelle a couple of the other day, 2 days ago. A formula: problem, agitate, solve. So if you present the problem, you agitate it, and I stirred that up about what I almost did to the guy. Um, and then the solution: here's the solution for getting distraction out. So in my Militant Time Management Strategies for Entrepreneurs Masterclass that was only available to my EMP members, I share several highly effective strategies on how to eliminate distractions. He's, and yada, yada, yada. You see the point? I'm taking a personal story tied to a problem that they might be experiencing. And I say, I'm going to give this to you if you'd like to get it. Free. All you have to do is reply to this email, go to this website, whatever it is. I invite people to schedule a 30-minute business growth call. Don't solve your problems all by yourself, and so on and so forth. So the point being is that we don't have to be annoying when we email people. I know people say, I don't want to email people because I don't want to bother them. Well, don't send emails that bother them. Send things that encourage them, that inspire them, that they can't wait to see the next thing. I think Ted would agree that he has enjoyed reading my emails. He tells me. Sorry. Amazon just came and put a package on my thing, so I got to make sure no one's going to steal it. But the point is, I wrote those and then I reused them a year later because there's new people on my list. There's new people who haven't heard that story. There's people that got the email, saved it for later, but never read it. So, some people who read it say, "Oh, I read that already," but I'm going to read it again because I forget what the lesson is. So people do things for certain reasons. I'm not going to. So that is pretty much the end here. But I'm going to just ask you some questions again. So at the beginning, I shared with you the autobiography in 5 chapters. Chapter 1, I walk down the street. There's a huge hole in it. I fall in. It's not my fault. It takes forever to get out. Chapter 2, I walk down the same street. There's a huge hole in the sidewalk. I pretend I don't see it. I cannot believe I'm in the same hole, but it's still my fault. It takes me a long time to get out. I walk down the same street. Chapter 3, there's a huge hole in the sidewalk. I fall in. It's a habit. And I say that it's a habit if you keep on doing the same things. If you don't take anything from this workshop and you do nothing with it, it's a habit. You're just willing to do that. Chapter 4, I walk down the same street. There's a huge hole in the sidewalk, and I walk around it. If you do something different, things will change. And then number 5, sorry. Number 5 is, are you ready to walk down a different street? Good thing first. So what I want to leave you with, if you are ready to do something different, and there's no obligation here, but I'd like to help give you a win. And so if you heard anything on this call and you say, I'd like to do that, but I'm not sure where to start. I have this big problem that you didn't bring up during the call. Could I run it by you? 30 minutes for free, for no obligation. I'm not going to sell you anything. I'm not going to do anything. What I want to do is be of service. And so if anything resonated with you on this call, please book a call at speakwithcraig.com. Hold on. I'm going to ask Aldo on mute, but just Ted.
Okay.
So Ted, I met Ted at the Chamber in 2008, right? It was about 2008.
Yes.
You were just in business for the first time. And can you just, for anybody who doesn't know me really well, can you just tell them what it's been like business-wise and professionally since we met?
Well, by the time I met you, it was apparent to me, painfully apparent, that there wasn't going to be a long line of people knocking on my door, regardless of how good a hypnotherapist I was. And so I realized that marketing had to be an important part of my business strategy. So it kind of came along at the right time because you introduced, really for the first time to me, the strategies which you've introduced here. And that's when I started to really actively market my business, doing a number of the things that you described, and certainly not all of them. And then joined the mastermind, and then you helped me write a book. And that was a result of being in the mastermind. I've written a book and co-wrote another book. So I would say without meeting you, I probably wouldn't have the longevity or the prosperity abundance that I have now from implementing those strategies that you teach here.
Awesome. Yeah, Ted, I given the distinction of honorary life member of any group that I have to Ted. He's one of a few that I have, and that is really because he implemented what I told him to do, and his life changed, and so his business changed. So grateful for him. He really helped me
Grateful
throughout my
for
career.
you.
So I want to give you the options right now. If you have any questions, right now, if you don't have to leave with 12:03, finish just about on time. Um, if number one, I want to repeat, if you can't stay and talk or ask questions, you can go to speakwithcraig.com, www.speakwithcraig.com, and book a 30-minute call for us. Or you can reach out to me by email at craig@empresults.com, and we can book a one-on-one, just have time to have coffee together. I'm happy to do that. But do you have any questions for me before we hang up? I'm happy to answer any questions.
There we go. Sorry. Yes, I do have a question. So we talked about reviews and testimonials, right? I mean, obviously that's a huge value to businesses nowadays with Yelp and Google reviews. What would you say is something that businesses can do to really encourage, people giving that review? Because the testimonial is great, right? Giving that minute or so of like, hey, this is, great experience, great service, very trustworthy. But would you see fitting for like reviews as well? So
Yeah.
that more people can see and be exposed to that? Like, how would you encourage that?
Absolutely. What I do with my clients, number one, I say I make sure that they anchor, Ted knows this word, anchor their positive feeling about your business. You say, "Oh my God, thank you so much for your help. This was great. I'm going to tell everybody about you." You say, would you do me a favor because it might help someone else like you who's going through this exact situation? Would you be willing to leave a review for me? In fact, here I'm going to bring it up right now. Or you go to if you have a link to it and you can send it to them, even better. So when you're with them, so I deal with I have a prosthodontist client out in Encino, and he takes a video, number one, of them in the chair after they're looking at their beautiful smile, and he goes, "You know what? Would you give a video testimonial for how you're feeling right now because it might help someone?" If for some reason he forgets that, his front desk is already trained on how to do that, and they send a link right before they leave. Make sure they do it before they leave. Um, but if you can't remember it yourself, make sure there are cheap softwares that you can use um, to encourage to enter their name and email address, and it'll send them and say, "I hope you had a great experience. Would you please help?" Just always remind every opportunity you have, like I just did with Ted, right? Is tell us about a great experience. What was your experience working with Craig? What was your experience doing this? Get it on video if you can. Try to get the review afterwards. If they don't, there are a lot of people we do business with who don't have Yelp or have Google reviews or Facebook reviews. So, find out what their best source is. But at the very least, those reviews that are on Google and Yelp, use those in your marketing. Cut and paste and copy it into a document. Put one, two, or three of them um, down the bottom of the sheet or at the top of the sheet or in the middle of the sheet. People believe, again, it's 1,000 times more powerful if they see someone else saying it versus you saying it. So if you can put those up front right at the beginning, that, did I answer your question?
Yes, you did.
And I
Thank you,
can
Craig. This is amazing.
and I can give you more specific information on that, like potential like software and stuff like that. Um, if you need it. So
Thank you, Craig.
okay. Let's see, Michael. There we go. Oh,
I am, and I'm trying to unmute here. What I was saying, tell us more about this mastermind. Are you still doing it, and how can we learn more about it?
yeah. The mastermind stopped during the pandemic, and well, actually, it happened during the pandemic. It stopped the last 2.5 years. Um, related to what I shared before. It's a group of people that have been with me for, many of them have, 3 or 4 of them have been with me for 18 years. I don't charge for it anymore for them. But we're having one on the 23rd of January. And so I can send you an invitation for that. It's it's for implementers, for people. So that's all I'll say. It's people get stuff done. So what we have probate real estate expert who's excellent at what he does. He now teaches. He has a course that he teaches to other people, other realtors and real estate investors around the country. We have Google Ads expert in there who started out after he got fired from work. He started his business. He makes 6 figures now, good 6 figures, and he's highly renowned. We have a friend who's a manufacturer of concrete washout materials for concrete companies. He's taken his business high and low from 500,000 to 1.7 million. Prosthodontist. We have many people, and people have come in and out, but those are the people that are still here. So I'll share that with you offline. So was this helpful today? Yes. If it wasn't, I don't think you'd be here. But I will be doing more workshops in the near future. This was my first one of the new year, first one doing one in a couple of years, actually. So I apologize for the technical errors, but the information was what I needed you to get. The core frameworks of the right message, right market, diversity creates stability, 3 ways to grow a business. So if you focus on, just take one idea and implement it, that'll enhance your business. If you implement several of them at the same time, you can grow exponentially. You can go from, instead of slow like this, you can go up like this. And if you need help, book a call, speakwithcraig.com, or buy me coffee over a one-on-one. So that is all. If we have nothing else to ask or to say, then I'm going to say thank you so much for being here. And if I can be of any help to you, please let me know. All right. Yay. Bye, everybody.